We begin by praising Allah, thanking Allah, reminding ourselves we weren't made for this world, and warning ourselves that we're returning to Allah. This entire world, our entire existence on this world is like coming and sitting under the shade of a tree and then getting up and leaving the shade. We're sitting on this warm day, in this warm parking lot. Some of us in the shade, some of us in the sun. This entire existence, our entire lifespan, it's like taking shade under a tree and then leaving. The question is, are we going to be satisfied with our state of religiosity, our state of spirituality, while forever seeking more and more endless dunya? That's the question for us today. Why is it that when it comes to my career and my education and my school and my bank account and my 401k, I always want more and strive for more, but when it comes to my spirituality and my religion, I'm good enough. It's good enough. If I have the iPhone 4, why do I have to get the iPhone 11? Stay with the iPhone 4. Stay with the iPhone 4. No, I have to get the iPhone 12. How come with religion we're okay with staying with the iPhone 4? With our state of spirituality, with our relationship with the divine. All of us are going to be in the grave one day. We won't have anything except our actions, our heart. We're not going to take anything else with us. But as we sit here in the shade, I'd like to remind all of us about this journey that we're truly living, and this journey about trying to earn the shade on the Day of Judgment. There are 7 people that will be shaded on the Day of Judgment. And this day is a cool day with a cool breeze. May Allah be gentle with us on that day. So on that day where some people will be sweating to their knees or sweating to their waist or drowning in their own sweat, we want to be in the shade. And so there are 7 whom Allah will shade in His shade on the day when there's no shade except His shade. Number 1 is a just or a fair ruler. A fair leader or ruler. It can be a ruler or a leader of different groups or organizations. Even the ruler, arguably, of a family, of a household, being fair and not arguing too much or fighting too much or getting angry. Number 2, a young person who grows up worshiping Allah, obedient to Allah. And there are some young men here, young women here, growing up obedient to Allah. And if we make a mistake, that's okay, as long as we turn to Allah. It'll erase it. Follow a mistake with something beautiful, it erases it. وَاتْبَعَ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُوهَا. Follow a bad deed with a good deed, it erases it. So we grow up obedient to Allah. Number 3, a person whose heart is attached to the masjid. We yearn for the masjid. We miss the masjid. We feel that we wish we could even experience a serenity in the masjid. I wish I could be of those people. Number 4, 2 people who love one another for the sake of Allah. 2 people who love each other for the sake of Allah. In other words, when we meet, we bring each other close to Allah, and when we depart for the sake of Allah. Do you have someone in your life who is like that? It could be your wife, it could be your husband, it could be your brother or your friend or your colleague. Number 5, someone who resists a direct temptation from the other gender. Someone who comes, a person of power, status, and beauty, and they come to attract them. They come to entice them, and you say, I fear Allah. No. That moment you get the shade on that day, that day that could be 50,000 years. May Allah be gentle with us. Number 6 is a person who is completely selfless in charity. A person who gives with his right hand that his left hand doesn't know what he's giving. In other words, he's giving, thinking of Allah, attached to Allah, purifying his money and purifying his heart from love of money. Are we in any of these categories? We have to choose at least one, and inshallah more than one. Because this is the investment that we need to make. Some of us might be getting on ourselves, why didn't I invest in Bitcoin? If that's your status and position. But this is the investment we don't want to miss out on. Why didn't I stay up more in Ramadan? Why didn't I read more? Why didn't I forgive more? Why didn't I forgive more? Why didn't I love more? Why didn't I? This is the investment. And number 7, a person who remembers Allah in private and they shed a tear while doing so. Remember Allah privately where a tear comes out of the eye. So as we sit here in this parking lot on this warm day, this is all reminders. When the adhan is called, we think symbolically, this is Allah calling us to the day of judgment. May it be a day of comfort for us and a day of celebration and not a day of regret and remorse. Amine. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Seek forgiveness from Allah, for indeed He is the most forgiving. Alhamdulillah, 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 wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Alhamdulillah, we come on Fridays to remind ourselves our true purpose, because this world hypnotizes us and we forget. And we come on Fridays to remember our true purpose, why we're here, why Allah created us, why Allah brought me into existence from nothingness. I didn't bring myself here. Allah brought me here, and my life is owed to Allah, my time is owed to Allah. And so on this warm day, and I say warm specifically instead of hot, just to be a little more comforting. On this warm day, on this hot day, sitting in the shade, we want to remember how to earn the shade on the next day, on the last day, on that real day that all of us are moving towards, whether we know it or not, whether we remember or whether we forget. And finally, in conclusion, let us not be of those people who are satisfied with their state of their religion, but never satisfied with their state of money. Let's not be of those people. Let's look in the correct direction. Some people, when it comes to dunya, money, business, success, prestige, they look up. Look, they have more than me, they have more than me, she has more than me, he has more than me. So then we want more. Instead of looking down, saying, oh my God, I'm so blessed. I have safety, I have security, I have food, I have health, I have medical care, I have a house, I have money, I have a car. Which way are we looking? And that's when it comes to religion, which way are we looking? Some people look down and they say, oh, see, they don't even, they don't even, they're drinking alcohol and gambling. I don't do that. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. See, I pray. I'm good enough. We want to strive endlessly, every day, every moment, to elevate our spiritual state, our relationship with Allah before we die. Instead, let's look up when it comes to religion and see people who inspire us and people who do more, people who give more, who pray more, who live for Allah more, and be inspired to be that way. So let's look in the correct direction, inshallah. And let's leave this Friday prayer with a commitment to be one of these 7 people shaded on that day of judgment, because this whole world is shorter than taking a little rest under the tree. May Allah forgive all of us, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيد المرسلين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا من أرسلك الله رحمة للعالمين. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, forgive all of us sitting Ya Allah, we came because we know you, we acknowledge you, we affirm you, we believe in you. Ya Allah, have mercy on all of us, Ya Allah. Forgive all of us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, let our reunion on the day of judgment be a day of celebration, not a day of remorse, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, help us live a life for you, Ya Allah. Help us, give us victory over our egos, victory over shaitan, victory over the whispering devil, victory over materialism, victory over loving the dunya. Ameen, Ameen. And we ask you for everything good that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked you for, and we seek protection from every harm that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sought protection from. Allahumma ja'al khayra umurina akhira, wa khayra a'malina khawatima, wa khayra ayyamina yawma nalqaka fih. And Ya Allah, gather all of us on your shade, the day there is no shade except your shade. آمين آمين وصلى اللهم تعالى على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم وأقم الصلاة. Is there any hafiz in the audience?